Hey guys, welcome back to my channel with another video. For you, those of you that are new, go ahead and follow my IG. It'll be in the description box down below. I also created a Facebook page, so go ahead and like that, follow that, and show some love. It'll be in the description box down below. Okay, so if you're somebody that's in high school, college, or just interested in the social work fields and you want to know more information about how to become a medical social worker, then this is the video for you. Okay, so quick disclaimer, okay, the requirements and how to be a medical social worker will vary state by state. Okay, I'm going to be talking about the state of Indiana. It's very imperative that you really pay attention to some of these requirements, because it's hard to be a medical social worker no matter what state you live in. More specifically, if you're interested in being in a hospital, it's easier to get into the other medical social work careers, but the hospital is going to be a little bit harder. Okay, so I'm going to help give you guys some tips and some things you need to do, and so that these requirements, okay, that I have written down, that you can go ahead and become the medical social worker after you graduate. Okay, so the first one is, what degree do you need? Okay, so in Indiana, it is recommended that you have your MSW and that you're licensed. Okay, that you have your LSW, which is license, your licensed social worker, and then after that, a lot of people go back and get their LCSW or LMSW. Okay, so there are some BSW social workers who do work in hospitals for case management and discharge planner positions. Okay, so for my state, I know like Porter Hospital and Franciscan, they do hire BSW students, and you do not have to be licensed. I don't remember any of the other hospitals, so if you live in Indiana and you know these requirements, go ahead and drop it in the comment section down below of what other hospitals accept BSW students. So let's go ahead and talk about the experience. Okay, so employers look for experience as those positions are competitive, you guys, and have limited positions. Okay, so most of the research that I have done mention that you need some form of experience in medical social work, whether that be at your internship or your field placement, or if you have experience working in the field. Okay, so the setting. So you will find medical social workers working at dialysis centers, nursing homes, hospice centers, hospitals, outpatient centers, doctor offices, home health organizations, and the list goes on. These are just some of the few medical areas that you can work at in the social work field. Okay, you guys? So, and also keep in mind, you guys, that like I mentioned earlier about being able to be licensed to work in the hospital, most hospitals you have to be licensed, like I already mentioned, but the rest of these, like the dialysis center, the nursing homes, the hospice centers, outpatient doctor, etc., most of those you can just work in the field like right after you graduate, and you can get licensed later on. They don't really require you to have the license. Okay, this is more specifically when I was mentioning earlier about being licensed and all that. Usually at the hospital they need you to be licensed. Okay, just wanted to give you a little FYI. Okay, so for the roles and responsibilities for a medical social worker, you guys, there are a couple tasks that are performed for this job, you guys. However, we know that more tasks are completed with this job, just like any other job you may work at. So I'm just give you guys a quick little rundown of a couple, and I'm sure there's many more that any medical social worker has completed as a task or role in their career as being a medical social worker, but I'm just going to name a few. Okay, so the first one is having to know how to do a psychosocial assessment. Oh my gosh, you guys, this is so freaking important when you're working in the medical field, because you need to know how to assess a client and or patients. Okay, because some people call them patients when in the medical field, or they might call them a client. Okay, whatever your company or hospital or whatever calls each client or patient. Okay, so a biopsychosocial is just what it sounds. Okay, it's an assessment of questions that determines your psychological, your biological, and your social factors, and that could be contributing to a person's problem or problems. Okay, plural. So the biological assessment, well, the biological questions assess for medical and genetic issues, age, developmental milestones, or physical characteristics. So just to break this down, this is why when you're choosing your internship, you guys, make sure you choose it wisely. So if you know that you want to be a medical social worker, okay, and you for real want to do it, go ahead and try to intern at a medical facility, whether it be, like I said, some of the ones I listed above. Make sure to advocate for yourself and really fight for what you want, okay? Because if you get that experience while you're interning, then when it's time to graduate, it'll be easier to find a job because you already have that year of experience and you've already done a psychosocial, okay? You've already done that assessment. So you're already set at a higher pedestal than other people that graduated and don't have any experience and don't know anything about psychosocial, okay? That's a tongue twister. So like I said, a lot of employers want these people that are applying for these positions as a medical social worker to know how to assess a biopsychosocial, okay? They know how to do that. And if you know how to do that, you're already way above everybody else, okay? So make sure to keep that in the back of your mind, because these employers are looking for specific things when it comes to medical social work and what things you're able to already know how to do, because that may put you in the front of the line compared to everybody else, okay? Because there's so many positions, but there's so many limited spots that they can fill, okay? So discharge planning, okay? That is so important in medical social work, okay? So before a patient is even discharged, per doctor's order, the medical social work handling this case will ensure that the services the patient requires are in place for at home or wherever their living situation is, okay? Because some may go to a nursing home, assisted living, etc., okay? A social worker is handling the discharge planning from the beginning of the client's visit to the end when they get discharged, okay? And when they leave to go to wherever they are going home to, or wherever their home will be known as, okay? So some of the things that you have to think about when you do discharge planning is, do they have somewhere to stay, okay? If they don't have somewhere to stay and you know that they can't go home, your job as the medical social worker is to find them somewhere to go. Whether that be live with the family, whether that be at a assisted living, nursing home. Let's say that they're good to go home, they don't have any medical issues, they're able to just go ahead and leave and go home and they have nowhere to go, and they have no family, then you need to be looking into some homeless shelters to help advocate for them to get them somewhere to go, okay? Or maybe you can help them, maybe they have a job and you can help them find somewhere to live, maybe like a Section 8 or HUD housing apartment, okay? And they have a job, or even if they don't have a job, HUD housing and Section 8 housing has a lot of great benefits, because you can live in an apartment or home and don't have a job, and the government and the state will pay for your rent, okay? So that's something to think about. Also, what community resources can they utilize and benefit from? Whether that be food stamps, whether that be insurance, okay? Whether that be transportation, whatever, like food banks, stuff like that, like things that they can utilize for free that they can use for them, okay? That you can help them with. This can mean, like I said, arranging for resources for medications, okay? Because sometimes they may not have the means to be able to go pick up their medications, or maybe they need help, or you can find a I can't think of it right now, Lord Jesus. You can find a pharmacy that can deliver their meds to their home, okay, to make it more easily accessible for them. Medical equipment, maybe they need something to help them lift, or they need things for their home that obviously a hospital can't just give to them, and it has to be billed through their insurance. Advocate for them, fight for that, and help them get those medical equipment so that they can use it at their home, okay, to get the best care that they need from their home, okay? Linking patients with social service providers, okay? Like I said, maybe help them get them food stamps, insurance, whatever the case may be. The list goes on, okay, guys? And coordinating home care services. So like I already mentioned, they may be able to go home, they may not. So just being able to find them some places where they could live at home and be comfortable. And that I say home because no matter where they're living, they need to be comfortable and they need to feel okay where they're living, because they're going to be living here for whether it be acute or chronic amount of time, and they need to feel comfortable and make it feel like it's their home and that it's the best place for them, and they feel, and not only that, but that the client / patient feels comfortable where they are staying, okay? Because yes, it's our job to find them those resources and find them where to live, but we need to make sure that they're feeling comfortable where they're living, okay? Another one that we do a lot of, you guys, is crisis intervention. So you have to know how to de-escalate a situation. You will provide brief intervention and support to the client or the family, okay? So let's give an example. Yeah. So let's say that you have a family member that just found out that the your client slash patient just got diagnosed with cancer, okay, which I know that's really sad and it really is, but this will really happen, okay. And let's say that, you know, of course it's normal to, you know, not be okay with the news and you're pissed off. I can only imagine, okay. But as the medical social worker, that is your job to intervene and help with the family. You know what I mean? Like, listen to them, be empathetic, use those coping techniques that you've used or learned in college, you guys. Listen to them, let them speak, okay? Just be there for them, but also be empathetic. And you have to learn how to de-escalate. So help them to de-escalate the situation, because the client has to get better. In order for the client to get better, they can't, you know, be stressed and worried and anxious, you know what I mean? So make sure that maybe you can sit down and talk to that client's family member or that patient's family member in a private room, maybe in your office or somewhere else, a safe haven or safe place for them to talk to you at. And also maybe find them some resources. Maybe you can provide the family with some free therapy sessions that they can sit down and talk to someone. Maybe they have some group classes that they can attend weekly for families that are grieving with a family member that has cancer, stuff like that, just to help them you know, be able to handle this tough news, okay, because that's something difficult to deal with, okay. So that's an example. And then you will also provide support for a family member who is having a difficult time having a family member, loved one in the hospital, which I already discussed that pretty much. But also keep in mind, you guys, that we have to be there. We have to be that support system for the family, okay? Because sometimes it's just too much news for them and they can't handle it all at once. It's a lot to handle. So we have to be there for them and the client slash patient. I say client slash patient, you guys, because some people call them the client in the hospital, but then others call them the patient because it's in a medical setting. So that's what I'm saying, okay? That's my chair. If you hear it, like, move. So another one is called coordination of care, okay. This is another responsibility or role that you will be playing in the medical social work field, okay. You are the liaison between the client and family and the client and the medical team, okay. So this is, I'm trying to think of an example. So let's say for the client and the medical team, okay, let's say the medical team, let's say the physician says you need to start walking. You need to start walking because that's your goal before you leave the hospital or wherever, okay, wherever they're at, nursing home, before they can go home. You have to start walking. And the client says, the client slash patient says, I'm trying, and maybe they get emotional and they say, I'm trying, but it hurts. You know what I mean? And, you know, the physician, don't get me wrong, like, they attended all that schooling and all that, but us as the social workers, that's where we come in to help intervene and to be empathetic and express and be that middle woman or middle man to the doctor or whoever, the medical team, and say, hey, the client says they're trying, however, did you notice that, you know, how can they walk when they don't have their walker, and you're telling them they need to utilize their walker? You know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to find them resources, I'm trying to do this, XYZ, let's work as a team to find them this walker, blah 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 blah, okay. Or maybe they are in pain when they're walking and they don't have any more pain meds or something. Let's say they ran out. Like, that's our job as the medical social worker, to intervene, to help advocate and speak for that client or patient when they can't and they're in pain, or they just can't speak at the time. So that's when we have to intervene and help them, okay. Advocate for the patient's care to be properly coordinated on all teams. Like I already mentioned before, if there is a goal for the patient to walk on their own before leaving the hospital or any medical social work career, then I will advocate that they are getting rehab, okay, to help them with that, and that they're getting the care that they deserve, okay. That's where we intervene and where we come in. We need to advocate for a client outside of the hospital too, okay. That's something that we will do in the medical field. So hypothetically speaking, no matter what medical area you're in, abuse and neglect can occur, and this is where we have to help. So for example, we may have a client who's getting abused or neglected, or let's say this, we suspect that there is alleged, okay. You always say that, alleged, okay. You will have to report that to DCS and refer the case to the agency, and then they will take care of the rest, okay. So that's it for this video, you guys. I just wanted to give you guys a quick rundown of a little bit about medical social work, and what it has to entail. So let's really recap really quick. So I got on here and I mentioned the education and what degree you need in order to go ahead and start that career, which I already said in Indiana you can have your BSW and work in the field is like for discharge planning, stuff like that. And then you also can have your MSW and be a licensed social worker as well. The experience, most employers want you to have experience. Every time I've looked online, and looks like in my state, they at least want you to have 1 to 2 years of some type of medical social work experience, okay? And it's really important that in this experience that you have performed or you have assessed a biopsychosocial assessment, because that will make you stand out compared to the others, and that's one of the most important things you know how to do in the medical social work, amongst other roles of course. But that's something that you will do an assessment on most patients and all patients all the time. So if you already know how to do that, then you're set, okay? Setting, we're going to discuss some of the settings where medical social workers can be found, okay, or you will know they will be working at, which I already said, which was the dialysis centers, nursing homes, hospice centers, hospitals, outpatient centers, doctors' offices, home health organizations, and the list goes on, etc., okay? We kind of mentioned already some of the roles and responsibilities for a medical social worker, which is you know, knowing how to complete a biopsychosocial assessment, discharge planning, crisis intervention, coordination of care, okay? So if you want to go ahead and drop a comment in the comment section down below, would you ever be interested in medical social work? Why or not, why not? Okay, go ahead and give this video a big fat thumbs up. If you want to see more videos like this where I talk about other social work careers and some of the requirements as far as education, experience, and setting, etc., okay? And I hope to see you guys next time. Bye.